Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. We are honored to have Dr. Tom Walsh joining us here, our veterinarian and business owner from PrimePet Rehab. That's primepetrehab.com. He's based out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and we're going to talk today about how he's helping you and your pets, especially those small ones, in regards to, well, physical therapy and so much more that he does. So welcome to the show. How are you today?
Great. Thank you for having me.
Well, excited to have you. And just for starters, just want to point out you're working with those mostly in South Carolina, correct?
Yes,
Perfect.
the Myrtle Beach general area, but I've got folks that travel hour and a half, 2 hours one way to come see me. So
I'm sure. Well, this is where I got to find out more about you because you really to have done something that's very unique. I live in New York, and I don't know one pet doctor or physical therapist that does this. So let me just ask to start a little bit about what it is Prime Pet Rehab does. What do you all do there?
sure, it's think of anything that a physical therapist can do for a human, we can do for your animal. And we are a small business exclusively. South Carolina does have some horses around this area, and I have made some house calls occasionally, but for 99% of it is dogs and cats.
Amazing. Well, we also want to talk more about your approach to animals. But before that, I want to find out more about you. I think that's important for future clients and people to get to know you, where you're from originally, and, what inspired you to go to vet school. Give us a little
Sure.
bit of that background, if you don't mind.
Of course. Yeah, I was born in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I graduated from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And about my senior year, I started getting interested in sciences and medical sciences. My mother was a nurse, my dad's a dentist, and so I guess I had it in my blood, but I never really considered it and until my last semester. And then I started doing physical therapy with several athletic teams at Chapel Hill, and it lit a fire in me. I really enjoyed it, and getting out of school, I volunteered at a number of places. Found out that I really enjoyed physical therapy, and I thought, I really enjoy this, and I really want to do it on animals. But first, to do that, I have to become a veterinarian, and so I I applied to school, and then I got accepted. And I don't know if you remember it, but it was I got accepted to an out of the state school, so it was down in the Caribbean, and they have a class that comes along every September. I was waiting for that class to come around, and that was the summer that the Marines liberated Grenada and got those students off of Grenada. And I had just gotten married
Oh,
at the
my
time, and so I
goodness.
said, maybe this is a sign to stay away from that. I literally took a job to take a job and ended up going back to vet school when I was 40 years old.
God bless you. That is amazing. See, I'm 46 and I'm looking to go back to school myself. I have my master's in communications, but I'm like, I really like nursing. I like helping. I always wanted to be a doctor.
There you
And I
go.
gave that up, but I'm like, it's a little too late now for that. Maybe it's not, but I'm thinking about nursing. So it's not too late to go back for your goals. That's beautiful. Wow.
Thank
What
you.
an
Thank you.
inspiring story. It really is.
I appreciate that. Well, you stay true to your dreams too, because it's never too late.
Thank you so much. And do you mind me asking about your family?
Yeah, I've got a son. I'm divorced, but I've got a son, and he is 27 now, and doing very well. He's not actually in the medical field. He's actually in the HVAC field, so other stuff that we need, heating and air conditioning. So.
Amazing. Yeah, we all need something. And yeah, actually, I have a 7 and 9-year-old, two little boys. And for the first time ever, we went to Myrtle Beach this summer. So I just had to
Oh,
mention,
wonderful.
of course, we stayed at like the Marriott with a timeshare. So we got to do the touristy type things, which
Of
you
course.
probably stay away from, but beautiful weather, beautiful people, and just gorgeous. So I can relate to a little bit about where you are. We're in New York. I'm out on Long Island, but have you ever been here?
Oh yeah. I love New York City. Hmm.
Okay. See,
Oh
well,
yeah.
it's funny. I was with my kids in the city yesterday, but we're like an hour away. We live
Right.
out in the suburbs. So everyone hears New York, they think New York. But I mean, it's just beautiful, right? Life is good after the pandemic. Now, let me hear how that affected you and your business and all as well.
Sure. So I was doing general practice veterinary work because when you get out of vet school, you put all that time and effort into it, and really over the past 15 to 20 years, physical therapy is becoming the newest facet of veterinary medicine, but it's still not mainstream. And so you get out of school and you're like, okay, well, I've got all this education. I better, I've got to get a job and do it like everybody else does. And I did that for about 10 years. And then the pandemic allowed us to really kind of reset everything, of course. And I got to thinking, I really had that desire to do physical therapy on animals. Let me investigate that again. And I guess instead of going crazy, I just decided to create a company. And so what I did was I created this company, PrimePet Rehab, and then I created as a mobile company. So I was going around from vet office to vet office in Myrtle Beach, and I was working with local vets. Their offices were empty, so they didn't care. And I was like, let me work with your clients and I'll help you do post-surgery, physical therapy, that kind of thing to kind of get them used to it. And they started seeing results with their patients, and they're like, oh, I had no idea that it would work this well. And one thing led to another. I strategically had picked Myrtle Beach because we don't have any specialty centers here. So it's a fast growing county right now. And it has been for the past 5 to 10 years, with a lot of retirees coming down from the north and that sort of thing. But we haven't quite got the infrastructure yet. So we have specialty centers, and by that I mean board certified surgeons and that sort of thing in Columbia, which is 2 hours away. We've got them in Wilmington, which is an hour and a half, 2 hours away, and then down in Charleston, about 2 hours away. So Myrtle Beach is kind of central to where a lot of where those folks live. And they have to go to those other places to get surgeries. So I picked this area for a reason, and it's really blooming. I guess probably 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was seeing by myself about 15 to 20 dogs a week, and now we're averaging 20 to 25 a day, and I've got a staff of 4.
Wow, amazing. You mentioned Wilmington. My niece is from Wilmington, and actually we picked her up when we flew to Wilmington and then we drove to South Carolina. So I got to
There you
see a
go.
little bit of North Carolina as well. That's beautiful. And now
Yeah.
I want to get into the work that you're doing, right? So let's break it down to what's going on in the office. What are some of the things people are coming into you for their pets? Obviously, I know it's pet rehab, but let's break down some of the services specifically and how you're helping these pets and of course their owners.
Sure, sure. So, uh, people don't typically seek out a physical therapist unless there's a problem, and it's usually with their animals, it's a mobility problem. You see them limping, or they've just had surgery. And very often, physical therapy is becoming so common in the human world that they've either had it or know somebody who has. And people are now starting to say, "Hey, it worked so well for me. My dog probably needs this too." And that's really kind of where we start. But ultimately, what it means is that animal is coming in and they are hurting in some way, form, or fashion. And that can be arthritic pain, it can be post-surgical pain, it can be a situation to where we have been compensating for so long and hiding a particular pain from the owner that they didn't even realize it, and we only get to that point when they can't hide it any longer. So it really is the combination of physical therapy and detective work, because the animals can't tell us what's wrong. So we have to go through and really learn the animal very, very closely in the first few sessions, and at the same time reduce their pain and inflammation that we have detected.
Got
So
it. Wow. Oh my goodness. So we're talking, what types of animals in particular are you seeing? Are you able to do
It's
physical
it's about
therapy on?
99% dogs and cats. I'd
Yeah.
say cats just don't travel well. I've seen a couple
Yeah.
of them and they've been extreme cases and we've done really great work with them. It's just that cats don't like to get out in the car carriers and stuff like that that dogs do. So it's primarily dogs.
Got it. Oh my goodness. And I want to talk about, some success stories, and I'm sure you have plenty of them. So let's go over, if you don't mind, telling us a little bit about some of the problems they're experiencing and what the physical therapy process is like for pets. I mean, we know for humans, right? But we're also usually most of us go, we're willing to do the work. And how does it work with a pet? So you're able to, you have to obviously help them, or do you put them on a
Yeah,
treadmill? Tell
ex
me, tell me how it
ex
works.
exactly. Well, I'll give you a test case of Gracie. It's pretty common. She's a 12-year-old golden retriever, and she had been slowing down on her walks. And she was typically walking about 2.5 miles a day. She started
Okay.
slowing down and not wanting to go on a full walk, wanting to stop before. And so her mom brought her in. And so we obviously knew she had some arthritis. And okay, so we worked with her to reduce her ability to walk. So we really kind of cut that out. So it doesn't make any sense to me if it hurts to move to make the animals continue to move. So you have to give them a point of to where they can actually rest. So that's
Hmm.
what we did. And for the first week and a half, 2 weeks or so, we really kind of kept her from going on long walks, just potty breaks kind of thing. And at the same time, we were reducing inflammation. Here in the office, we were using things like cold laser therapy, which reduces inflammation and also pain mitigation. And we were also doing massage, cryotherapy, those sort of things to relax those tissues. I know I can't heal arthritis. Nobody can
Yeah.
heal arthritis, but what you can do is reduce inflammation, and then you can begin to build the muscles that surround those joints. And if you do that, then the body is less reliant on the joint and it's more reliant on the muscles, and they start to move better. And that's exactly what happened to Gracie. And we continued to work with her, and now she's back up to 3 miles a day, walking with her mom, walks on the beach, the whole deal. And at 13, now she's 13 and a half years old. You get a lot of that. I cannot believe, I thought for sure she's
Yeah.
over 10. Oh goodness, that she's on her way out.
Yeah.
I've got dogs that here in the office, I'd say probably at least half are over 10. And I've got dogs as old as 17, 18, 19 years old.
Wow, this is fascinating. I love it. I love it. I love it. Clearly, you love what you do. Could I just ask, as a young child, who inspired you? Where did you get the love of animals and compassion? Do you have someone that, instilled this in you?
I think I was just born this way. I will tell you a funny story. My mom tells this story all the time. When I was probably 4 or 5, we lived down the street in North Carolina, and there was a horse farm down the street. And there was a horse down there that was he was very angry. He would charge the fence. We were always told to stay away from that. And I have a older sister, and of course, older sisters do what older sisters do. And well, I'm just going to go see that horse myself. And so I tagged along. And my mom must have, it was a different time and age. She must have been doing laundry or something like that. Turned around, and we were both gone. She searches for us, comes down. It's just a few houses down. She comes down, and the horse has got its head through the fence, nuzzling me.
Oh,
And she said that it was the most bizarre thing she'd ever seen. She'd never seen that horse, that he wasn't,
wow.
very, very angry and charging and running the fence and trying to get away from people or whatever. And she said, I've just never forgotten that. So I think I was born this way, but I didn't realize that I had that sort of thing. I've always been one of those things to where even dogs that are, aggressive to people, they seem to change their attitude around me. So I feel very blessed that's kind of the way I'm built.
Amazing. Well, clearly you're passionate about helping. And let me also just point out at this time, since we're a little over halfway, all the
Sure.
ways we can reach out to you. I know we mentioned the website. Tell us the phone number, any social media pages.
Sure. We are anything that you do, if you will search for on Instagram, Facebook, if you just squish Prime and Pet together and look for this blue dog that I have on my chest, you're going to be able to find us. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and that sort of thing, LinkedIn. And but the website is the easiest way to get started is primepetrehab.com. And the phone number is 843-839-5335.
Beautiful. All right. We still have a lot more time to talk here about the work you're doing. And you mentioned you also, I know you allow in interns, which is beautiful, right? Like you help mentor others and you give back, obviously. So could I ask, where are you getting these interns from? Do you advertise at local, at the colleges, or tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I guess my love for helping interns really kind of started with me. I had a we all have different weird things that happen to us in life. And as an elementary
So
child,
true.
yeah, I had an elementary teacher that told me that I would never be good in science.
Ah,
And I literally pursued the rest of my college career, undergrad, thinking that I was never any good at sciences at all. And it wasn't
wow.
until I started hanging around those people in physical therapy that I started realizing that I did understand the concepts. And I know that's a basic understanding at that point, but it caused me to at least take the blinders off. I felt like when I had this opportunity, I loved teaching when I was doing general practice. I would involve the technicians to because it helps keep me sharp. It also helps a better understanding. People, as a general rule, people are more willing to work with you if they think they're part of the solution. And if they are part of the solution, then they have to understand why they're there. So I like to really work with folks to be integrated into what's going on, so they feel like they've made a difference. And since we opened up this building in Myrtle Beach, I stopped being mobile. We opened up this past November 5th was 2 years. So since then, we've had over 40 interns from the local college, which is Coastal Carolina University. And we about every semester, it's 5 or 6 interns that we enjoy having here. And we really we have it organized where we put them through a program so that if they're getting credit for it in school, they can show something to their teachers and that sort of thing, so that it's not just playtime with puppies, but it's real things, and it really has been beneficial. We've had to turn folks away every semester for the past 3 semesters because the word is getting on campus that they can go do this. So we must be doing something right.
Clearly, this is amazing. And I want to know a little bit more about your specific approach. You also mentioned another website that you want to share and to talk about this. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, so I won't
Sure,
botch it. What
Corenza,
is it?
yeah,
Carenza Approach. So,
yeah,
and that's the
Corenza.
website, the Carenza Approach, spelled Coerenza approach.com. Tell us about that and what that
Sure.
entails. Thank you.
Uh-huh. So I guess it really started as I was doing this mobile work. Obviously, you start to recognize patterns. And when I was going around, I was explaining these things to owners. And then when I moved into this building, I remember I'm saying a lot of the same things over and over again. And when you do that, then you have an approach, you have a philosophy of how you do things. And just like I told you early on, it doesn't make any sense to me to make an animal move if it hurts to move. So what that does is that leads you into thinking that the animal is more than just the injury that you're looking for. So everything is related, everything is connected. So I don't know if you know it, but for example, on your dog, the front 2 legs
Well,
carry
I have
six.
cats. I don't have a
Oh,
dog,
okay.
but okay.
Okay, well, it's the same thing for
I
cats.
know, I know. Go ahead.
But the front 2 legs on 4-legged animals carry more than 60% of the body weight
Wow.
because the head's up there. That makes
Okay. Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Totally.
your hind limbs are only 20% and 20% in the back.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
if you have a problem with one of those hind legs, they don't shift it over to the left hand side. If it's a right-handed or the right leg is hurting, they don't shift over to the left. They shift forward.
Got
They
it.
lean that forward. So you can't just look for a problem on one side or the other. Like us, we're 2 legs. So if you are hurting a knee, you're going to put more weight on the other leg. And
Yeah.
that's eventually going to cause you problems. With
Yeah.
with four-legged animals, they shift that weight forward and it causes problems in their neck, shoulder,
Okay.
elbows, that kind of thing. So I developed this idea of the carenza approach. Carenza is a Italian word that means coherence. That
Mm-hmm.
means you've got to take separate parts and put it all together into a whole. And that's what we do with these animals. We're looking at all the different parts that matter to that animal. And they really boil down to five different principles: exercise, environment, enrichment, nutrition, and what their role is in the family or responsibility is in the family. And if you look at all of those as a pet owner, you are now seeing a balanced animal instead of,
Yeah.
unfortunately, social media is great. The information age is a wonderful thing, but it also provides a lot of bad information and it can lead us down a lot of bad, things. I can't tell you the number of clients coming in crying because they've been told by Dr. Google that their animal has no hope. And sometimes that's just not true.
Ah.
So the ability to look at things as a part of the whole thing, everything
Mm-hmm.
that matters to that animal really is a big deal.
Oh my
So I
goodness.
created the Carenza approach, and I actually speak in veterinary conferences around the country about 7 to 10 times a year. And so I wanted a place for people to go and find out more information on it. I actually have a podcast too, the Carenza approach, that's on Spotify.
Oh my goodness. How do we find it? What is it called?
It's called the Carenza approach.
Perfect. And let me ask, for someone out there who, is, concerned about their animal, and I have to say this, but kindly, right? Because there's a lot of veterinarians out there that do a lot of, medicine, and that's what they're trained in. That's what they do. I also know of a holistic veterinarian, right? And she believes in other modalities besides that. And I feel like physical therapy is something like an alternative modality than to jumping into like a surgery or something like that, right?
Sure.
So can I just ask your thoughts on that? Because some people might go to a regular vet, which is great, but maybe misguided, So how do you kind of figure that out? Because there's alternative medicines nowadays, and I believe people can work together with medicine and holistic modalities for the best well-being of a pet, of a person, of a child, anyone in a sense. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Jill, absolutely. I don't view this as a if or then. It's not one or the other. You actually can work very well. The reality is, if you, let's just say let's say you were in a car accident, God
Yeah,
forbid, okay? And you had to go through physical therapy. As physical therapists, we're able to tell you, okay, Jill, this is what you're going to do. This is how
yeah,
you're going to do it. And at the same time, these you're going to be sore. You're
yeah.
going to hurt after this. So you need to
Mm-hmm.
rest. You need to do this. We can cognitively work you through this process. With animals, they don't. It's only cause and effect. And so if they are hurting, we need to give them every opportunity to stop hurting.
Okay, yeah,
And
for
so
sure.
that very often includes medicine. And
Uh-huh.
so what we can do once we get past that point of pain and inflammation, we very often can get them on lower doses or even off of medicines. And that's a win-win for everybody, because now you've got a healthier animal that's going to have a better, longer lifespan. And the veterinarian is now not having to dispense all these medications, which have side effects. So it can be a win-win. It's a win-win for everybody.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we are almost out of time. We have 3 minutes left in your show. How did you kind of want to sum things up for today, being it's our first show together? And obviously, we're getting to know you and all the work you're doing. What would you like to say to everyone out there today?
Sure. I would like to just say that, we're not too far away from a generation that really took much less care of their animals. It's
Yeah.
become very stylistic and a fad to be super mom to these folks. And a lot of folks are
Yeah.
even saying, I don't even want kids. The thing about it is the animals' needs never changed. They always were figuring out a way to adapt because they want to live with you. They love you. They want to be with you. So giving back to them and helping them live the most kind of complete lifestyle they can possibly live, to where the best quality of life, I think, is something that as much love as they give us, certainly it's a way for us to return that love, and you also get to enjoy the quality time with your animal much longer.
Got it. Well, thank you so much. Pleasure getting to know you here today and doing what you do.
Well,
And,
thank you so much.
if someone wants to reach out to you, offer an initial consultation, how would we get, do we go to the website, primepetrehab.com to reach out to you?
Yep, you can schedule one there, or you can also call that phone number 843-839-5335, and Kelsey will get you all hooked up and ready to go.
Perfect. And do you have any vet conferences coming up? I know you,
I
you
do.
do
I'm
speaker.
December
Oh,
4th or 5th through 7th. I'll be in Long Beach, California, at the
beautiful.
Pet Show. I'll be
Beautiful.
speaking out there. So,
Awesome. Are we back again together next week?
no, I don't know. I'm not sure what our schedule is just yet. We're still working on that, but yeah.
All right. Well, looking forward to speaking with you, and would love if we speak again to see maybe we can pull up some pictures, maybe share the screen, see some of the animals that you've been working with, and or videos. It's just to
Yeah.
visually see the improvement of how physical therapy can really help, especially with the Carenza approach that you do. Thank you so much. All
All
right.
right.
Looking forward to the next time we speak. If not, you have a happy Thanksgiving next week, and we'll
Thank you. You
connect
do the
soon.
same. Thank you so much, Jill.
Thank you, Dr. Tom Walsh, everyone. Go visit him, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, PrimePetRehab.com. Have a great day. Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.